Hello guys, it's Tonton from State 948. Welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we're gonna talk about a bit about castle battle, mostly local Sunfire castle battle. So it means that it's when there is no SVS, so state versus state. It's when you are fighting with other alliance in your own server. I'm hesitating to make a guide about how to play the event well. Which is usually what I care about more than explaining how the event works. There are many videos about how the event works and a lot less guides about how to play the event well. So very quickly, you have a castle in the middle of your map, right? The big stuff, it's called Sunfire Castle. I'll explain quickly, right? You have 4 turrets and the castle. So the goal of the game is to capture the castle. And you can see in your castle battle event, you can see how many times each alliance occupied the castle. So right now we are slightly ahead. So we have 2 hours, 13 minutes, and extra second, and they have 2 hours, 12 minutes. The way you win the event lasts 6 hours right now. So either you hold it for 3 hours straight, so it's not captured by another alliance, or it's the alliance that got the most occupation time within 6 hours. So sometimes you can have 3, 4, 5, 6 alliance who will hold the castle for a moment. So it might not be more than 3 hours. It could be, like 2 hours could be the alliance with the most time, for example, and you will get the castle. And the winning alliance will be able to elect a president, basically. And the president will be able to handle, we don't have it right now, but buffs, titles, and stuff like that. So that's kind of how you win the battle. What I care about, I'll explain to you about. There is an individual ranking system for points and rewards, which give very good rewards. If you look at the reward, it's a lot of gems and a lot of charms. So you might want to be, can you be top 10? Can you be top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4? I'll show you how to be eventually top 1. But to be able to be top 1, you need to be in a very active alliance with a lot of people helping you. Otherwise, I'll kind of explain to you how to play as well as a team. I'll cover both. First, I'll cover how to make points. Because right now I'm losing points because I'm not active in the battle, and that's I want to rank better. So I've been gardening for the first 4 hours and a half of the battle outside, so I'm kind of not ranking very well because I was outside working. So I'm 14th, and that's a bit too low. So I need to get some points. And I'll show you how. First of all, like with kill events, you want to follow your state rules. You don't want to go rogue and to do whatever you want. So if there are state rules, like for example, if the castle is given to a certain alliance or something like that, or if a turret is reserved to, sometimes in some states I've played, like one turret was reserved for weaker furnace level or fire crystal level. So 3 turrets will be free for all, anyone can take them, but then 1 turret, if we were like FC4 and 5 was available, 1 turret was for FC3 and below. So these people can still fight. So you can fight some rules to have fun. One way that people don't really understand how to make points is if you look at point reward, and if you go on the exclamation mark at the bottom corner, you can see that there are a few ways to get points, right? You get carnage points are obtained by defeating enemies in the Sunfire Castle or turret, so that's you hurting other players. Occupation points are determined by your troops' power when occupying Sunfire Castle and turrets. So the stronger you are in terms of troops, and the more troops you have inside the building, the more occupation points you get, right? So if I would send a march, for example, if it will be like in Garrison in the building, I will get points just every minute or every second. I don't know, I forgot exactly how it works, but every so often I'll get points based on the amount of troops and the strength of my troops. So that's one way. And there is another way that most people forgot is, and don't know about, is you get points for casualty points are awarded based on your severely injured or troop loss. So if you are dead troops or troops that go into the infirmary. And it does not matter where you get these points. You get the total points, and the total points is your ranking, right? If you look at my ranking, I got 59 million. I got 59 million here, right? So it doesn't matter how I get points. Either I get occupation, either I get carnage, or either I get casualty points. So you will get points. Most of us will get points with either occupation, but you're not gonna rank well. So you need to get points with a casualty. If you are a whale, you can get a point with carnage, and it's simply, let's say, I'll scoot people. I'll show you a bit. So that's the strongest player in our state, so no way. But let's say I'm a whale, I'm very strong, and this guy is average, this rally is average, the Garrison, is average. I will send 2 or 3 marches and I'll explode the rally. So I'll get a lot of points because I will have troops injured because I'm alone versus a rally. But at the same time, I will give them a lot of injured troops, so I'll get a lot of points. And you see whales can climb the ladder very quickly. So these are a decent percentage, it's a solid rally. Because there are Wolverine and he's a very strong dude maybe, or maybe someone else, but they have some good rally leader inside. So that's one way. So basically the way you do it, so I'll pop my pets, because I need until today was not active. I'll send a solo march, my best heroes. I want to go likely 60, 10, 30, something like that, 50, 20, 30. You want more infantry to tank, so your other troops can do damage. So you send your march, so 34 seconds. And you can see I was 60 million, let's say, close to 60 million. And by just sending one march, which takes 30 seconds, so it takes me 1 minute back and forth. And I'll teach you how to be very, very effective. So you see I'm regularly tapping, right? I'm helping my teammate to heal. And during the battle, you will have to tap for hours. You will have, if you have nothing to do and you're on the phone, on the computer, just tap. Just help people heal, Just help people heal. So, okay. So I'm attacking them, right? So let's see my point first. So I went from... So I got like nearly 1.5 million points. 1.4 million points. With one solo march in 1 minute. The issue is... I got 60k injured. See, I gave them some injured, so I got points for 7k of them that are injured. Lightly injured, they stop fighting. Now they are not fighting anymore. Troops will stay in the same squad and not be able to participate in battle. So that's why if you are a whale and let's say you make 100,000 injured, 300,000 lightly injured, then there are 400,000 troops that are not fighting anymore. So the second attack, they will have nearly no troops defending. After the second attack and the third attack, you send everyone to the infirmary and you win the battle if you are a whale. So that's how the whale is making a garrison explode. And with a single march, it's because they are putting troops in lightly injured and they are stopping fighting. So that's why, as well in Sunfire, if we get double rallied or triple rallied, for example, in the castle, we will have a lot of lightly injured troops and they will stop fighting and stop defending. So that's why you want to send reinforcement all the time. All the time you see there are blue lines. That because we get lightly injured regularly from turrets, and I'll explain in a moment, and stuff like that, and people attacking us. So we have to refresh troops. Otherwise, we have troops that are not fighting, and of course, the less troops are fighting. So for solo points, if you really want to climb, you do that, right? You send your march. And then when your march is working, you find a troops amount that's working for you, and it should be healed instantly. So people in your alliance will tap, right? So it should be healed instantly. So you need to see, how much can you do, right? So for me, 380 is good right now. So people are tapping, so I'm tapping for them as well. Oh, I need to be careful. So I'm tapping for people, I'm tapping. And for 1 minute, I'll do that, right? I'll heal as much troop as I can out of the 60 that go to the infirmary. And I'll send a march, heal, send a march, heal, send a march, heal, send a march, heal. So you need a shit ton of resources. See, sometimes I'm making mistakes. It's a bit easier on the phone. But you need to heal. Like, let's say your infirmary is full. It's totally full. If you have a lot of people tapping in your alliance, you can clean your infirmary in 10 to 20 minutes, just doing that. So you will have to do that for 10-20 minutes. So it's not really fun. But if you really care to make point and to rank, that's what you have to do at some point. And the issue is like when people start to know that on your state, you can find yourself in a position where people are playing solo leaderboard more than joining rallies and making points. And you see it's an issue. So I can see my troop is back. See, there is no queue walking. Oh, it's snowing. It's funny. So I send it again. And while it's walking, I'll do that. So I send 1 or 2 more, and then I'll chill in a building for the rest of the video. But I just need to make some point just to show you that, I was 12 or 13. And after a few attacks, I should be a lot higher in the ranking. And if I do that for an hour, I will be in the top 5. I'm not sure I can catch up in the top better than the top 5 because people have been doing that for 4 hours and a half already for some of our teammates maybe, or a bit less, but they might have done a lot of it, even if they did not do just that. But because I was gardening, I was not really paying attention to the game. So you see when my march is hitting the castle, you can see it goes up, right? So I'll heal a bit. I'll just put some more for the rest of the video. I'll just put 2000 so I can at the same time speak and do something else. So if you look at ranking, so now I'm 12, right? So I did not climb a lot because other people are making points, but you see like I could easily, quickly, yeah, it's gonna be tough because I did not play for 4 hours and a half, so I'm really behind. But I think top 5, if I really wanted to, is okay. I could at the same time, and you can do a mix, right? You can do a mix. You can defend the rally right and left because, let's say your team need help with a rally to get the middle. So, and you are defending a turret, you are pulling your troops back from the turrets. You are joining the rally. Maybe before you join the rally, you send a solo march. So you are pulling back from the turrets. You send a solo march. And as soon as your solo march is returning, you will be able to join the rally. So you made point by occupation in the turret while you were healing, for example. So you spend 15 minutes healing, if you have enough resources. Then when you healed or nearly fully healed, you send a solo march. Your alliance needs you with a rally, so you send you send a rally, and you can manage both helping your team, healing, and making points. And if you really care to make points, and I've been in states where I know that in our state it causes some tension if you go too mad, with making points. Like some people get upset at it. I've played in some states where that's the game basically, and people spends hours and hours doing that. So they will spend, they'll solo march for 3, 4, or 5 hours. Because like the castle is arranged, right? After a while, it's messy when you start on a new state because everyone wants it. But for us, it's a rotation. So while we fight for castle and anybody can take it now, we will give it to Car. This time Car will have it. So these guys. So either they are winning the event and they can make the president they want, and if they are not winning the event, the next president will, and let's say we are winning, the next president from Car will join our alliance. We will give president to them, and then they leave and they can go back to their alliance, right? So you have a few options, but that's the winning alliance deciding with the next president within their own alliance. So if you are making a rotation and you want another alliance to be president, you need to have the next president, and not any player, but the next president in your alliance, basically. So that's how you rank, that's how you make points. If you are already going mad at solo marching, because you make points because you get that, right? I mean, you made a tiny point because of injured, but you make point because of that. And that's simple, right? Do we know? The good thing is when you make points, you attack a turret, and with solo march you make points as well, for that, right? Because you are injuring some troops. So that's an option as well. So you can see probably some people that are high now here. Some of them are high as well here, right? Because they did some solo marching and they got extra point on top of fighting for kill event. So like the rest of the battle. So that's simple way to make points and not the most effective way. And if you want to rank, and early days, like I did not know, the first few times I did not know that, and I was not understanding why I was seeing a lot of people doing solo marches and ranking very high, because I did not know that you make points with highly injured, right? I did not read that part, so that's very important to know. And you see, if I do more, like my casualty point will go up, and then I will rank better. So the way it works, where there are turrets, right? You don't need the turrets to capture the castle. What the turrets are doing, you see there is a countdown below the turrets, 30 seconds. So let's look at one. Maybe this one is a bit closer. 15 seconds, right? So the turrets, first, when someone takes them, it will be like 1 or 2 minutes before you capture the turrets. So the turrets will be inactive. When the turrets, let's look, maybe you don't see, okay, maybe you will see this one. Do we see an animation? Yes, it's shooting in the castle, right? So the turrets are shooting the castle. So let's say the battle starts, turrets are unoccupied. Then you enter the turrets, you capture them, you wait 1 or 2 minutes, they are yours. And when they are yours, they start to fire. And they start to fire every 5 minutes. And then the longer you are holding the turret, the faster it fires. So now see, it fires every minute. And it's very tough when you are holding the castle, and 4 enemies and alliances are holding turrets, because 4 turrets are firing every minute. And I was in the castle earlier. Your troops was hit by a turret, right? And you see, I got troops are lost due to attack, infirmary injured. So you see, we use 60% infantry and 40% lancer. So I have 1,500 troops in the infirmary from 1 turret. So let's say. And it's a proportion of how much troop I have in the middle, right? So if you have 200k, you get a bit more. If you have 100k, you have a bit less. If you have 50k, you get a bit less. But you see, like many of these people have been in the castle for a while, and they have a low amount of troops, not necessarily because they got attacked, but because we have 2 turrets firing. So if you hold the castle, that's why you want people to heal and to tap, to tap a lot. Because it's very hard to hold the castle when you are not holding turrets. In that case, we can have 2 turrets, so there is only 2 firing, so that's a decent, that's decent, that's not too bad. But that could be, that's why it takes a lot of resources, right? Every time I'm healing, it's 500,000, 400k, it's nearly more, 100k, 20k, and I will need to heal like 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 100 of time, 1,000 times, I meant. I might need to heal 100 and 100 times during the battle if it lasts for 6 hours and there are rallies and stuff. Right now I'm in a turret, so it's chill, but if you are in the middle, you could have 4 turrets firing, plus you have other people rallying you, right? And, rallies, they could nearly put, 50, 40, 50k, 60k troops in the infirmary per rally if you are, if the rally is as strong as yours, but yours is slightly stronger, so you stay in the castle. So healing is a big challenge, and I suggest, and it's only for the first few fire castle, because after a while, when you are fire crystal, you should have enough resources, but the first few ones are very tough when you are furnace 30 and stuff. If you are fighting a lot, you need to have 300 million, 400 million, 500 million food and wood available, and the equivalent in terms of coal and iron, right? We regularly spend that much just healing, basically. So if you have 100 million, that's really tough. That's why you want to farm early days, is really because you want to have, before this battle, you want to basically steal all the loots on your farm to be able to sustain healing. And especially for SVS, when it's local sunfire, maybe you don't care that much, you lose, especially if you work together with the state, with your state. If you do not work together, it's another story. But if you are together like us, then it's not that bad to lose the castle. But that takes a lot. So you want to check how much you have, and how much you have in your bags. So you can always know how much you have in your bags. If you click in your bags at the top right left corner, you see what you have with item and the total resources you have, and the difference is what you have already active, you know, so that you can always know how much you have. So you want 500k, 400k. If you are like a Furnace 30 player and you will be very, very active, you probably need less. Often 100, 200k, not k, million. 100, 200 million is enough, right? For most players, if you are really active, then maybe 300, 400 million. Let's talk about, so ideally, you want to hold the castle for 3 hours. That's the simple way to win. Right now, it's a bit too late, right? We are at the end of the event, so there are no rally going on, so I cannot show you. But some tips that you need to know. So I'm defending this building. You see me, I'm here. So actually, I have little troops, so I make little points. So I need to send more troops. You can have only one march active in Sunfire Castle. So if I have a troop here, see if I try to send a garrison here, it will tell me each chief can only dispatch one troop for the castle battle. But it's not really true because you can send multiple to the same building that you are already in. So I can send reinforcements. So let's say someone is attacking the turret. I can send reinforcement before to make sure that we are, maxed out in the rally capacity and on my own capacity. I can, send more troops so I make more points as well. And what you need to learn and what to do is to reinforce in between rallies. So let's say we are stronger than the opponent, and the opponent need two rally to knock us out of the castle. So what they will do, let's say Rick and Xavi are rallying us. They don't have the same walking time. So Xavi is a bit further, and maybe he has less marching speed than Rick. So he might start a rally 3, 4, 5 seconds later. So they are hitting at the exact same second. So if you have to attack with 2, 3, 4 rallies the Sunfire Castle, you want your marches to arrive at the exact same second. So you need to look at your march speed. So for me, I look on the turret, even if it's not what we care about, but I have 28 second march speed. So let's say we want to rally this with 3 rallies. Then I'll tell in the chat, I have 28 seconds. Then you have 32, then someone has 30. So the person with 32 seconds will start the rally. Then someone will start the rally 2 seconds later. And then I will start 4 seconds later than the first rally. So hopefully our rallies are arriving within the next second. And what you could use is the in-game time above. So you say, for example, at 16:48, we go. So 16:48 we go. The first person starts the rally. 2 seconds later, the second person starts the rally. 4 seconds later, I start the rally. So we should arrive, if we do that well, we should arrive at the exact same second. And when you defend, you want to know the march time of your opponent. So let's say my opponent march time is 28 seconds. So I will watch the rally, right? I will keep track of when the rally starts, and I will send troops. Maybe let's say I am a bit further than them and I have 40 seconds. So if they have 20 second walking time, I have 40 second walking time. So I will send my marches around 45 seconds. So that 28 plus 12 to make it 40. So 28 plus, when the rally is like 17 seconds left, for example, when the rally have 17 seconds left, I will start to send marches. So I'll send 1, I'll send 2, I'll send, maybe even a bit sooner. So maybe when there are like 20 seconds left or something. So here I will arrive after them, right? Because they have 28 second walking time, and I'm sending them 40 seconds. But then I'll speed them up. I'll speed them up enough so they arrive all at the same second, and at the same second at the opponent. And that's why it costs a bit of gems to do the castle well. So the idea is my 3 marches, I cannot do it while I speak, right? And there is no point for me losing gems for that. But they have 28 second walking time, so I'll send my marches to arrive a bit later than them. So like, let's say 40 seconds of walking time. But then while the march are working, I will speed things up. So I can time my marches perfectly, and I can have 3, 4 marches perfectly timed in between their rally, hopefully, and then I will be able to reinforce. So we're not gonna lose and get a triple rally because so many people in our alliance will do the same. So many reinforcements will arrive in between their rallies, and the game, if they get very lucky and they got 2 rallies in a row and we don't have any reinforcement in between, then they'll take the turrets. If not, we will keep it. But you will see that often you will be able to maintain the building. The only issue you have to consider is if you send 3 marches, and if they arrive 1 second too late and the building is lost, you will get, where are my solo attacks? Oh, they are here. You will get 120k for 2 march, you will get 180k for 3 march, so you can fill your infirmary very quickly, right? So that's something you need to be mindful of. So that's why you need to stay on top of your healing game, and you have people that need to heal all the time. But that's how you defend. You send your marches a bit before the opponent is arriving, and then you speed all the marches up. And if you speed up, like if I send, right? Let me send further. Where can I do that? Oh. So let's say there are 40 second walking speed, right? I wait 10 seconds, then I speed up 25%, so 400 gems, when there are 30 seconds left, right? So 25% of 30 seconds is 2.5 seconds per 10 seconds, so it's 7.5 seconds I will save. So if I send my marches 10 seconds before them, I know that speeding up at 30 seconds, I'll save 7.5 seconds. So I might want to send my march and speed it up immediately, right? And then the second march, I might do it one speed up of 25% at 30 seconds, and one other at 20 seconds. So these things become very natural to me. Like right now, I know I don't have to calculate everything in my head. When I send 3 march to the castle to reinforce, I look at their walking time. I look at my marches and I speeding up. I use speed ups, and I know that 10 seconds is 2.5 seconds, 20 seconds is 5 seconds. So I know how to do it like nearly without faking, and you will get used to it basically. And that's a very good way, and that's the only chance to win if you are stronger and you get the castle. That your only chance to win against a double, triple, quadruple rally is to reinforce in between rallies. And what you can pray is that your opponent has a few seconds in between their rallies, right? They are not timing them perfectly all the time. So you have, 2-3 seconds in between rallies to slot your marches. And that's very easy to reinforce when you are used to it. At the beginning, people get lost with that and they don't really understand. But if you know their walking time, if you know your walking time, and you can do basic math with your head, and you know that it's a 12-second difference, for example, then you will be able to manage that very easily, right? And then let's say, so that's the defensive part of it, but you can have an offensive part of it, right? It's like, okay, that dude is too strong. We do one rally, we get our ass kicked. We did that earlier, right? I don't know if I can find it. It was a long time ago today, but so it starts around 1. So we got double rallied, I guess, because we have little amount of troops, right? So he was attacking us, we were defending, so we got double rallied. And see when the second rally, if I go here, let me look at the time. So 13:07:29. 13:07:29. So it's a perfect example, right? So okay, you don't see it. I have a pop-up from Windows on my Whiteout Survival. So that's their first rally, and their second rally arriving at the same second. So PT, is decent, but it's a bit weaker than Farcad. Right? If you look at the percentage, Farcad is stronger everywhere. So we defend, right? That's normal, we defend. So we have 200k injured, so these are going to the infirmary. We have 400k lightly injured, so these are not fighting anymore. These troops stay, lightly injured troop will stay in the same squad and not be able to participate in battles. So to remove these troops, we have to send reinforcements. And, you know, if I send 100k, then we have 300k that are lightly injured. And, you know, it will automatically remove these troops, basically. If you send new one. That's also why you want to send reinforcement. It's to lower the amount of lightly injured. So he injured and sent to the infirmary 216k, nearly 17k. We got 400k lightly injured. We have a bit below 800k defending, right? Because these won't defend. And if you look at the next report, see, that number is this one, right? So these are not fighting, as I told you. They are not showing there. I mean, it's like they are not in the report anymore. So these are not fighting. So that means that they send, if you look at the time, they send a perfectly timed rally, same second, and we did not get any troops, any reinforcement after. No, not after, in between. So we did not manage to hit in between. In that case, because Rick as well is a lot stronger, right? If you compare, right, he's quite stronger. If you compare the percentages, he's stronger nearly everywhere. So that makes sense, right? We have 800k troops, they have nearly double. And, you know, and he's stronger, so we win. But that's the perfect timing. And sometimes you want to do that with 3 or 4 rallies, basically. If you have, let's say you have Rick defending, or a max player, you know, someone that's like 11 charms everywhere, maxed out gear, maxed out research, maxed out heroes, widget, all you want, like 100 on each piece of gear. That's very tough. So to kick out a max out player, even with Rick, for us, it takes us 3 to 4 rallies often. We had that 2 SVS ago, and it took us, you know, 3 to 4 rallies, and if they reinforce in between, then we don't get castle, right? So that's what you want to do. That's exactly what they did is exactly what you want to do. And if Rick was not stronger, let's say Rick was weaker than Farcad, then they will still have won the battle because that's a perfect time rally and they have twice the amount of units. So, you know, we will need to be so much stronger to not be able to defend against, you know, twice the amount of troops, right? Because as well, what you see here, if you look at that rally, if you look at the details, so let me go a bit more in depth, right? So you can see so you can see, right, what troops are injured, and it's mostly infantries. So a tiny bit of marksmen, a tiny bit of lancer, and for everyone, it's mostly infantries. Which means, while we have, what was our troop ratio before? Right, we have 60, 20, 22, 19, let's say. 60, 22, 19. So that's not a very good ratio. We are not really, you know, we use 60, 40 for some of our rally leader, but for Farcad, we use 50, 20, 30. So I guess people use the wrong, they did not send any marksmen because for many other rally leader, we don't, and they did not adjust, right? So that's a mistake we made. But if you look at the next rally, if you look at percentages, we got 50, right? So we don't have enough infantry. Like, it's still a decent percentage, but it's not great. And to tank, it's not enough. So because most of the infantry are being injured and not fighting and stuff, then you have less troops, but you have as well not enough infantry that do the job. And here it's still decent, but you know, it could be that we have 40% of infantry, and you know, that could be very bad for us. So that's 2 reports. That's how it works for double rallying. That's how you make points solo. So if I'll go and make some myself, see, you know, do we need help to rally? Otherwise, I'll just make solo points a bit to rank a bit higher. But if you care to make points, that's just how it works. If you like, there are more advanced tactics, and I'll probably make another video on that. Today it's a bit, you know, it's nearly 6 p.m. for me. I have a dinner tonight with people at home, so I won't be able to make a longer guide. You can do rallies, counter rallies, counter of counter rallies, and counter of counter rallies. Like, it could be very technical, but I'll make a deeper fighting strategy guide on Sunfire Castle for SVS later. That's why I keep it simple for Local Sunfire and explaining you how to make points, and the key to make points is to have a lot of resources and people tapping to help you heal. That's it for today, guys. I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.